For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pua Walsh. I'm the founder of Astrology Hub, and I'm here with SoulSign Astrologer Adam Gainsburg. And we've come together for a couple reasons. Well, lots of reasons. But the ones that are stated for this session are, Adam's going to give some information about Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. There's some big things happening with those planets this week. I mean, all year long, but this week and then into next year. So Adam's going to go through some of the major things to be paying attention to with those big transits that we're all navigating. And then, most importantly, he is going to lead us in a guided meditation that is going to help us really prepare our bodies, our minds, our spirits for the energies that these planets are holding that we can use now. And if you'd like to tune back into this meditation over the next coming months and into next year, you'll be able to do that. So we're both very excited to be here with you. Adam, thank you so much for joining us for this special edition. It is wonderful to be here with you.
I feel the exact same way, Amanda. Hello, everyone. Thank you very sincerely for the invitation. I hope what I share tonight or today, wherever you are, will be of value beyond just learning something in your mind.
That's one of the things we love about you, Adam, is you're so committed to helping us have an actual embodied experience of the energies. And I can tell all of you from personal experience in working with Adam with the different kinds of meditations that he leads, it gives you this visceral experience that goes far beyond you thinking about how these things are supposed to feel or what's happening. It's this opportunity to really feel it, experience it, and then own it, and then know it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a real important path, going from believing something and sensing that it might be true to getting to the point where you've had the experience of it and you know it. So this is really exciting, Adam. Let's start with the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto storyline that you were excited to emphasize for all of us.
Great. So I just want to speak very briefly here to frame Jupiter. What is Jupiter astrologically? What is Saturn astrologically, and Pluto? And this will help you understand my read of the transits coming up for the rest of this year. So first of all, Jupiter, to me, among many, many things, it is the universal principle of increase or growing. Anything that grows, increases, more, better, faster, that's Jupiter. Jupiter holds the vision of things as they could be. That's the principle of Jupiter. And for Jupiter, in Jupiter world, next and new is the priority. The shadows of Jupiter, entitlement, hubris, expectation, and overconsumption. Okay. Saturn. Saturn to me holds the principles, the universal principle of decrease or maintenance, maintaining what is to a fault. Saturn's worldview is things as they are, not as they could be, things as they are now, right here. Reasons don't really matter with Saturn, things as they are. And rather than next and new is the priority, the current form, what is the priority. Current system. Now, you can think about this as a system of government, classical Saturn symbolism, but you can also think of it as the human biological system. How your immune system, for example, is wired to look after you. How your lymphatic system is wired, built, created to release toxins from the body. So it's any system, okay? And couple of the shadows of Saturn, of course, are someone who might describe as cold or heartless, and the entire dyad perpetrator-victim, where there's a power, there's one that is not as powerful as that, and there is a violation somehow. So that's one of the shadows of Saturn, that whole dyad, perpetrator-victim. And then, of course, Pluto. We could speak for days about what Pluto means, but essentially, here's what I want you to think about it just for this evening, or if you're listening to this later. Pluto signifies a parallel reality running exactly along with us right now in this moment in our conscious reality. A parallel reality that's underneath our beliefs, our version of reality, and our conscious awareness and our self-image. So it's a parallel reality running, not of the same frequency as what we walk around saying, oh, I need milk. Oh, I have to stay in. Oh, I have to do this. I better not do that. It's a parallel reality. And Pluto, in astrological language, Pluto is the actual source of human power. Pluto is the source of personal truth and coming to live that truth, not just read about it or listen to it out from someone else and really resonate with it. I mean, living this. This is your source. That's the source of Pluto. Okay, great. Anything, was that clear, Amanda?
Oh, absolutely clear. So you're going to draw it together, like how these are all engaging together.
Totally.
Okay.
So since the beginning of last year, even before that, some of us astrologers have been talking about the great conjunctions of 2020 when fundamentally Saturn and Pluto, and then Jupiter, and we've already passed this, but Mars would be going through. But basically Jupiter would be catalyzing and triggering this undulating, moving Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunction. So I want to go through some dates here. Next week, as of the time of this recording, April 5th, Jupiter will conjunct Pluto for the next time at 2425 Capricorn. This is what I'm calling the peak of the coronavirus, the peak of the stated cases. What has been diagnosed, people who have been tested and come back positive. So next week, we're very close to it, apparent peak. Now, with these dates, you can be within a week on either side. But around April 5th to maybe April 10th or 11th, I see Jupiter conjunct Pluto. So what is Jupiter doing? It's expanding, increasing what's underneath, which is this invisible virus that we yet still don't have a vaccine, even though I just read recently, there's a combined around the world, all the biotech companies and governments, there's about 35 or 40 billion dollars now in a race to create a vaccine or a methodology to deal with people who are infected with the coronavirus. So I see the peak coming right now. Next month, May 11th, Saturn will turn retrograde. May 15th, Jupiter will turn retrograde. Okay, this is a time when we might start to see, especially people in America and some of the other countries that are on the second phase of this first wave of the virus. You know, Korea's well ahead, China's well ahead, Iran, etc. But this time, middle of May is when I'm calling this the next turn on the spiral inwards, meaning this could be the beginning of middle of May with the Jupiter and Saturn sort of co-stationing retrograde, would be an invisible start of the next wave of cases. So just to be clear what I'm saying here, in my personal opinion, and I really pray I'm wrong, that I see that there will be a second wave of coronavirus cases coming. And this is a little bit backed up by anecdotal reports that I've heard around for the last couple of weeks, that this virus is a very, very unique form of virus, and it has 2 ways or 3 ways that it can present to the body. So I kind of think like the middle of May is when we might, if we're not careful, we might start to believe that we're done with it. And then I think, according to the astrology anyway, that this would be a mistake. A month and a half later, end of June, June 29th, Jupiter retrograde conjoins Pluto retrograde once again at this 24-degree Capricorn degree. And I see this, again, here's Jupiter conjunct Pluto. This time they're both retrograde. An acceleration of the next wave of reported cases. I'm guessing that because this is retrograde, this is going to show up with symptoms that may not always fit the description of this first wave of cases that have been going on December, January, February, March. Okay, that's what I'm seeing at the end of June as the peak. Again, week on either side of this or so. Then the summer, we will go through that curve. And I hope, I pray that the medical professionals, the first responders all around the world will have learned a lot and know how to deal with a sudden influx of new cases. End of September, September 28th, Jupiter and Pluto are stationed direct, with Jupiter exactly sextile Neptune. Okay, Neptune in Pisces. So I'm seeing this here as the first taste of a relief or a decrease in the curve, as they call it now, flattening the curve. I'm also seeing this in light of Jupiter being the agent here of triggering these things happening. His sextile from Neptune, this may not be what it appears to be. In other words, it might be that the apparent relief in cases seems to cloud or obfuscate or take the attention away from something else going on in the world that affects us all. Neptune. I don't know, my guess, the only thing that I can think of, because I'm not a financial astrologer, I'm not a mundane astrologer by any stretch, might be something around the economy. And when I say the economy, I don't just mean in America, I mean the economic system, because we are, most countries are leveraged to get with each other. So when one starts to fail, they have to pick up the slack somewhere else, and then on it goes. So I wonder if this is a serious event, something serious around the debt that is pervasive around the country, around the world. So that's the end of September. Beginning of November, about a month and a half later, November 9, for the last time, Jupiter conjunct Pluto. Again, this time they are direct at 22 Capricorn. And I see this as actually the peak of the second wave. So this would be this event, just November 9th or so, would be the similar event then to what's happening now. Because on April 5th, Jupiter conjuncts Pluto, direct at 24 Capricorn. November 9, Jupiter conjoins Pluto, 22 Capricorn. So, and both direct. So I would say this is the peak of this second wave. And then after that, especially by solstice, December 20th, 21st, 22nd, Jupiter conjoins Saturn at 0 Aquarius. Now, because I'm not a mundane astrologer, and my reputation in my career is not riding on the accuracy of my predictions, I get to say some outlandish things like I'm about to say, which is, if I had to guess, I would say that a vaccine or a remedy is either announced or distributed. Okay? Now, Jupiter and Saturn are conjoining at 0 Aquarius. Now, on the whole sign chart, Saturn is in the 4th house Saturn is, and Jupiter are at 0 Aquarius on the 4th house cusp. Uranus is trining the sun from the 7th house. So I'm wondering, again, this is just me, I'm wondering if with this vaccine, with this remedy that's pushed out around the world or along or through the most affected countries, I'm wondering if there is some kind of technology, Aquarius, Saturn at the bottom of the chart, some kind of technology that is promoted or attempted to be pushed on the public in the name of public safety. So take the vaccine, and there is something else in there that might not be announced, or might be announced, but and it's not really given us an option. Again, huge grain of salt stuck firmly in your cheek with this, what I'm saying here, but that's my kind of sense about this. Okay, a month and a half after that, the following year, January 12th or so, 2021. This is the most interesting event to me, Amanda, in this little run-up here that I'm doing, because this is the new moon on Pluto. at the degree of the great conjunctions, 24 Capricorn. So Sun conjunct Moon, conjunct Pluto at 24 Capricorn. And here, folks, and I wanted to end it. See, I've been preparing for this, right? I have notes here. And even as I'm saying it, I'm getting chills still. You know, seeds of the deepest change are accepted, embraced by humanity, or we revert to our unconscious mindset of this can't really be happening, or thank God, goddess, that's all behind us now. Let's get back let's put things back together where they were, let's get back to normal. That is not the move here in January. I would encourage people to right now, April 2020, stop seeing and thinking like anything's going to go back to how it was. Even if right now we erased the coronavirus from all human beings. I don't think the system is, we can go back. And I'm not just talking America here. So this time, middle of January next year, is, I think, in some ways, maybe from a metaphysical standpoint, an evolutionary standpoint, this is our choice point, or one of several choice points that are going to hit through 2021 about what am I? Each of us have to do it for ourselves. What am I making the priority? Am I going to be a seed of change? Am I going to be a seed of getting back to what I know? Let's get back to it. It was great before. Let's try to recreate what we had, etc. Okay? So that's what I want to share in terms of the astrological information, the transits, Amanda. Now, I want to go into the meditation, but I want to prepare just a little bit of something else here. And this involves Chiron. Okay? In astrology, I'm a little bit known for a book I wrote on Chiron and my teachings on Chiron. Chiron right now, and through this period that I just ran through, will be in Aries. When Chiron is in early Aries, it's the very, very beginning of the zodiac. So when Chiron crossed over from end of Pisces into Aries, it was like an entirely different relationship with our hearts, entirely different relationship with vulnerability as another source of our power that we as a collective have now possible. Chiron is still in early Aries, within the first 5 degrees. Here's how I want you to think of this, or take this in. Chiron in early Aries, either a hesitation or a resistance to moving forward as one human race because we have fear of what it's going to ask of us. In other words, there might be a perception of a big sacrifice that we don't know if we're ready to make. A material sacrifice, an emotional one, relationship, a technology one, a spiritual one. But whenever Chiron is around, there is always an experience of breaking open, not breaking down. Chiron does not signify in astrology breakdowns. On one level, that's Saturn. On another level, that's Pluto. Chiron are break opens. So here's how I want you to think of this. Will you be choosing your known reality or your unknown future? Your known reality that you can identify now, what things feel like, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what the reasons you do things, that's known reality, or an unknown future. Another way to talk about this more emotionally, and this is a teaching I give in another area of my work called the open heart work, is, am I choosing what I know, which has basically produced a lot of unhappiness or unsatisfaction, or am I choosing unknown happiness? And it has been the case, it has been true about humanity, that we humans, evolutionarily speaking, we will go to the known, even if it creates sadness or difficulty or discomfort or misery. We will go to the known rather than the unknown, even if the unknown promises amazing happiness. This is not a negative statement. This is just how we are. And all of our metaphysical and spiritual and healing and tantric and shamanic and ceremonial efforts to connect with ourselves, each other, the planet, the cosmos. They're all there for in one very big way of saying, they're all there for one reason: to get us more comfortable choosing into the dark, going for the unknown. Because when we do it from our center, from our heart, it may be difficult, but we are living our truth now. Okay? So, with all of that said, Amanda, I want to now go into this meditation.
Can I please, can I please ask some questions and summarize some of the things you said, and then can we go into meditation?
Absolutely, yes. I don't know how this is going to flow. Absolutely, perfect. I should have said interrupt me at any time. Yeah.
No, it's perfect because I've been gathering everything you're saying, and I'm doing my best to synthesize it, and I would love to see if I'm catching it, and hopefully this helps everybody listening as well. Hello to everybody out there. Thank you for being with us. Okay. So basically what we're seeing is these waves of energy.
Yes.
We're going to be reaching a peak of that around next week. And this is the peak. It's like the peak of the wave of the first wave.
Yes,
okay.
Correct. The peak of the wave. And remember, all these dates I gave everybody, it's a week on either side or so. So
right.
It's not exactly exact. Okay.
Never. It's always like it's energy. So it's not going to be like a pinpoint. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we have that first wave, peaking around-ish next week.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's going to appear to subside. And there could be this feeling of we're through it.
Uh-huh.
But that's not what's happening. As far as the energy goes, it doesn't appear to be what's actually happening.
That's my read. That's my read of the situation, Amanda. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So then there's a second wave of energy that comes in the summer. And
yes.
And this wave of energy is going to come and peak, you said, around September, at late September. So
right.
this is like a big, I guess they're all, the first wave started, technically we could have said it started in December, January. For the first countries affected, right?
No, the first was in October, China.
Okay. Wow. But like the wave of it, the actual.
Right. Yes, if we look at the whole world, the wave of it was patient zero or person zero. Yeah, it would have been more like late November, mid to late November would have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
December, January, February, March. So we're in about 4 months of that first wave. Okay.
Right.
Then there's going to be an apparent subsiding, and then another wave that's going to be June, July, August, September, another 4 months-ish.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And then there's going to be, right.
Right. And then you were talking about, though you said the peak of the second wave is November.
Yeah, the peak of the second wave will come in the middle of November. Jupiter conjoined Pluto again at 22 Capricorn, which is, again, the repeat of the event that's happening next week.
Okay, so pay attention to what's happening next week, and we're going to have some sort of recurrence of that kind of energy again in November.
Yes, a recurrence of the energy, but because we will have lived from now all the way through November, some of us will find our inner superpower. Others of us will just be worn down.
Mm.
Because we'll think, emotionally, that's what really drains us. These emotional nervous system up and downs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and Ann Ortley and I did a Facebook Live. Well, it wasn't actually a Facebook Live, a recording. We just posted it on Facebook this morning about the current astrological weather. And she brought up the book by Viktor Frankl, A Man's Search for Meaning.
Yes.
And how when he studied, so he was in internment camp for years. He was a psychiatrist.
Right.
He watched the people who didn't make it versus the ones who did make it through that period of time. And what he noticed is that the people who didn't make it were the ones who got attached to an expectation about how long it would be. Yeah. So they thought it would be, I can make it till this date. But then when that date came and went, they fell into depression and they couldn't handle it emotionally. So what I'm loving about what you're sharing and what the astrologers are sharing is that it's helping us stay realistic about the fact that this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. We're not going to have this like, oh, back to normal. Like you're saying, oh my gosh, that was really intense and now everything's back to normal. That's not the invitation of this time at all.
Right.
So
Exactly.
and I want to just ask everybody, as you're hearing this timeline, is it like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it? Or is it like, thank God I know, or yeah, that's what I sense anyways? I would just love to hear from you how you're receiving that, because I know it can be an interesting experience to receive the timing and the anticipation. And I know anybody who listened to all of you astrologers for the last 3 years that we've been talking to you about 2020, you're grateful right now that you listened. You know, the ones of you that listened and went, there might be something to this and maybe I should pay attention to what they're saying. Now it's like, oh, you know, they were right on. Okay, so then let me just wrap this up in terms of the summary. You say solstice-ish, there's this something like a revelation, maybe a vaccine, maybe some sort of remedy, something that is announced. And then January again, so this January 12th date, which was huge in 2020, we're back on that January 12th date for 2021.
Yeah.
This is where you're seeing that we have a choice point.
Absolutely.
Again, I mean, we're having these choice points, but this is another major one is what you're seeing.
This is a major one. The new moon occurring on Pluto, literally. They're just lined up right there at the degree of 24 Capricorn, which has been the degree of the entire, I mean, to me, that's the degree of all of this, is a seeding. It's an inception. You know, in my work on the Venus phases and the Venus cycle, her first phase is called inception, where she receives this kind of spark, this kind of bija of inspiration. And it's not necessarily about anything that's going on at that time. It's this, they call it self-arising. It just, and that's what I see here, because remember, that's how I frame Pluto. Pluto for us in our human lives, in a very tangible way, is our relationship with our power. Our power does not come from the gods and goddesses. Our power to live our life and actualize who we actually are, our power comes from our capacity and our willingness to make our shadow conscious and to love ourselves there, and to love others from there. That's where our actual power comes from. If we're getting our power, our source of power from heaven, from higher frequencies, we will always have to use our energy to bring it into life. If we get our power from our own unconscious, our own shadow, then it just wants to come out. It wants to find expression. And there's not a lot to do here.
Okay. So this is a great question from Chris.
Yeah.
I am grateful for the information. It will help me become a surfer and ride the wave. I'm telling you, those surfer images right now, you guys just pin them on your wall, put them everywhere, because that is exactly what we're doing. And if you watch, you know, when huge waves come, we have choice. Well, let's pretend we're surfers. We can either time it, get on that wave, dance. I mean, you see surfers dancing and it looks elegant and amazing. They're playing with the water. You know, there's, or we get toppled over and like pinned down. So it's that kind of a choice is really important to keep in mind. But I like this. I'm wondering if we can use our spirituality to help us ride the waves.
Yes, if you stay in your body.
Yes.
If you leave your body and you shoot out your 6th chakra or you shoot out your 7th chakra, you're not riding the wave. You're not riding the wave like you think you're riding the wave. You're up there riding the wave, almost like looking at it down here. You need to stay in and use your spirituality in, and that's what this meditation is going to help you to do.
Yeah,
it's going to give you a technique to do it on your own, basically.
Yes. So if you're listening, going, I don't know, how do I know if I'm in my body or out of my body? Then you're going to have an experience of being in your body, and then you'll know. Okay, let me just wrap up, because you said something else here. You said something about Chiron.
Yes.
And this, I think, is really key for us to keep in mind, because there is this feeling that everything's breaking down.
Yes.
But what you're saying is that when Chiron is strong, it's more about a breaking open.
Open. And just like Frankel's example in the internment camp, those people, somewhere in their subconscious, they made a choice. Did they choose the breakdown path, or did they choose the break open path? Just to put this in different language. Breaking open means staying open. Breaking down means I failed, there's no hope. Amanda, it just occurs to me very briefly, if everyone here listening to this could kind of get this, I'm not going to go into a long explanation about it, but in part of my teaching, in the heart work I do, I teach the difference between hopelessness and hope lostness. Hopeless, we all know what hopeless is. We surrender, we give up, we lose. Hope lostness is I'm no longer relying or emphasizing hope in something in the future. That's a breaking open. And that's actually a method of staying positive. So those people who made it through the internment camp, like you say, they were not attached to that date, that deadline. They were actually present. And that's what had them survive it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing, I guess he treated it as an experiment of like that sounds frivolous. I don't think it was like, oh, this is an experiment.
No.
But he was observing, he was present. And the only thing he knew is that he wanted to live to tell the story. He wanted to live to tell the story. And that alone is what compelled him to continue to observe. What is the story? What is the story I'm going to tell? Wow. And then, what does it look like on the outside of it? Okay. So you talked about, and I just want to say something about anybody who's experienced heartbreak. When you break up with a human, it can feel like someone you were very in love with, this breakdown in the relationship, or is your heart breaking open so that you can love more, love different the next time around? Exactly. And so it's a choice, though. It's always a choice. It's
totally a choice. It's totally a choice. And that's what I go on. That's what I completely go through in my book on Chiron. Chiron on your chart is where you are literally cellularly wired to break open. Where you are wired to learn that, oh my gosh, I have a choice here. That's that place. Yeah.
Yes. Totally. Okay. Now, one of the things you said about that time at the end, like in February, was having this, okay, am I going to choose known reality or unknown future? Yes. Am I choosing what I know, or am I choosing unknown happiness?
Right.
And that the invitation is for us to choose the unknown. But then you also said that humans, that in general, we don't tend to do that. So in order to get to a place where we would make that kind of a choice,
yes,
it sounds like there is preparatory work for us all year long to get to a place where we would consciously choose unknown, even though we're wired to not normally make those kinds of choices.
I completely agree with you, except I would just amend that to say it's lifelong work.
Yes.
All of us adults here who have any kind of cognizance of what's going on in the world, we have been preparing for this our entire lives. It is, in my opinion, it is irrelevant if you like what's going on or you don't like what's going on. If you're in a good position or a bad position, we have been preparing for this our entire lives.
I love this. Merriman says, choosing the unknown. These words cinched my willingness to leap into this energy. These short few weeks of isolation have brought so much awareness around my pride and people-pleasing as I've insisted on proving myself. I didn't even know how unhappy I was.
Right.
Taking the break open path from this moment forward. Thank you. Right. That's really beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Exactly.
Bravo.
Well, and it's, choosing that unknown. What would you say to people who are thinking things like, I actually have been happy. I actually did like my life. I actually have made choices to live a life that I love.
Wonderful. Then you will probably be the people that when you find happiness again in the new form of your life, whatever it is, even if it looks quite similar to like it did, you're going to be some of the people that knows what happiness feels like, that knows what integration into the material world feels like. And you can hopefully help a lot of people who might be disoriented for a lot longer than the coronavirus is around with us. Also, Just because I have been successful / happy / whatever in the past doesn't mean that in a new form, in a new system, in a new reality, I'm going to like what I have to do to find happiness again. See, there's so many different permutations and variations of this. In other words, if I've been attached to my life being happy and content and peaceful and going well, and then it's all taken out from me, the attachment is the actual source of my pain and suffering. If I'm not attached, then break open. Okay, I got to let all that go. It was wonderful, but if I focus any more than that on that, I'm now literally trying to recreate the past emotionally as I'm going forward into the future, and that will never work. That's a recipe for unhappiness.
I just had a wave of that. I was on with my daughter's 5th grade teacher, and he was saying that he anticipates that he probably won't see the children again in 5th grade, and that potentially what they had as a class, which at Waldorf school, you have the same teacher from 1st grade all the way to 8th grade. He said, potentially what we've had might be over. Yes. And I had this wave of like, oh my gosh, it's true. Yes. And it hurts. Yes. And it's been so, but he said, hasn't it been so beautiful? Right. Hasn't it been so amazing? And I was like, it really has. So can we celebrate the beauty of the life that we've had, be grateful for that, trust that there's more for us, that it may look different, but there's more beauty, there's more grace, there's more joy, all these things that,
that can be refound and recreated now moving forward. And exactly right there. Right. I love you are sharing with us, break open. Yeah, this is it. This is what I was trying to share before. I really, from my heart, want to tell each of you, the world we had, as wonderful or as horrible as it was for you, is not accessible anymore. It doesn't matter how long the shelter-in-place thing lasts. I'm not talking about just the virus, but our world, it's different now. And people are going, oh, yeah, some astrologer. He doesn't. Okay, fine. He's talking, but let's see where we are in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now.
Adam, I don't poo-poo you guys ever anymore. You have proven yourself to me over and over and over. And not that you were needing to prove yourself to me, but what I'm trusting in is your ability to read the swells, your ability to read the ocean, not the ocean water, which there's people that are really good at doing that, especially those surfers. But what I'm talking about is the waves of energy in the universe. And I'm not a translator of that language the way you are, but what I've noticed is that you all are very accurate with it. And the thing about 2020 is you all have agreed. It has been entirely, completely unanimous across all different types of astrology, across all different backgrounds and trainings, across all different political spectrums. Every single one of you has said that this year is massive and completely transforming the way that we live. So we're here.
I read something once. I want to give it to you to maybe use in your literature for Astrology Hub moving forward. 2020 is now year 0. This is where we begin. In fact, I would say this is the pre-beginning. Sort of like the inception phase, when you get the thing, but it's just an idea or it's just an energy before it gestates. An egg is fertilized, but it takes a while. This is 2020 is year 0.
Wow, you guys! Oh my God, so it's incomprehensible, really. And that was the thing that was said over and over in our 2020 forecast event that I reference over and over, because it's so incredible how accurate the things that were said are now that we have the context, especially.
Right.
But it was like, we'll be planting seeds for a future that is beyond our wildest imaginings.
We are.
It's like, okay. Adam, for those that want to have this experience of cultivating their strength in their body their spirituality in their body, this idea of being able to break open as we experience these waves of energy so that we can hold more, right? So we can hold more light, so we can hold more love, so we can hold more potential.
Yes.
Let's do the meditation.
Great. Let's do that. Let's do that. I want to do this here. Okay, great.
And how long for people that are preparing and wondering if they have enough time to go into it with us now?
I would say 10 to 13 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So everyone these days in the West, we meditate differently. Laying down, standing up, standing on your head, sitting down, whatever. Please find your position that is comfortable for you, meditationally speaking. And before you close your eyes, getting comfortable in your body now, settling in. Before you close your eyes, I'm inviting you now to just, either in your mind's eye or actually turning your head with your eyes, just notice that you are sitting here, if you will, in between the four directions. So whatever direction you're facing, let's say you're facing east, that means west is behind you. North is to your left, south is to your right, or whatever orientation you're facing. So just for a moment here, just acknowledge that you're here on the surface of planet Earth, and there are the four cardinal directions around you. If you don't know which way they are, that's fine. But I just want you to have some kind of awareness going into this meditation that you are, if you will, directionally centered already, just being here. Okay? Now, when you're ready, gently close your eyes. One or two breaths. Let your thoughts do what they do. Let your mind become more relaxed. Feel yourself inside your body. A wonderful way to do this is to find a place or places that you are currently holding on, gripping tight, even autonomically, and relax them. So it could be the area around the anus or genitals, it could be the lower abdomen, it could be the belly, the solar plexus, the breathing, chest, ribs, your back muscles. It could be your shoulders, arms, how your hands are positioned, are they relaxed, fingers, and as well all the way down. Then down your legs, your feet. And relaxing in this way, once again, feel yourself inside your body. Now, please listen first before you do this. You are sitting here, we are sitting here together, as I said before, on the surface of the earth. I'd like you to feel the earth below you, her entire body, her round orb underneath you. And if you're a good visualizer, which you don't have to be to do this, visualize her underneath you. And with the next inhalation, whenever you're ready, imagine that you are breathing from the entire orb of Mother Earth below you up into your body. It may help for some of you to imagine a kind of pyramid shape, whether that's a four-sided pyramid, a three-sided pyramid, a five-sided or more. You're inhaling from Earth into your body. And on the exhale, you're exhaling back out to Earth. Do this a few times. I've been asked this before after meditation, so let me say here, what you are bringing into you is your sacred relationship with Gaia, your eternal relationship with the being we know as Mother Earth or Gaia. When you feel complete with that, let go of the breathing and the visualization and just rest for a moment in your body. Notice how you feel. If that was a lot of energy, let it settle. If that was very, very subtle for you, you didn't feel much, let that settle and trust that you did exactly what was right for you here. Okay, just for a moment, feel your whole body as one again. Bottoms of your feet, tops of your head. Top of your head, all your body as one. Okay, now, turning your attention to Father Sky, the cosmos, Newt, vastness, space. With the next few breaths, you are inhaling and visualizing the vastness of the sky, the cosmos, the universe, space. Inhaling into your body. If you need a visual, an upside down pyramid shape. So at the top of your inhalation, you start the inhalation at the very top of the inhalation, in the middle of the breath, that point is in the center of you, of your body. The top, the upside down point of the pyramid. Trust yourself here. Trust the body you were given. Trust the body that you look after every day. He, she, they, it knows what it needs. At the end of the next exhalation, after exhaling back out into the cosmos, into space, come to rest in your center again, just for a moment. Now, keeping your eyes closed, or unless you have your eyes open throughout this entire meditation thus far, I want you to now tune into where both breaths, your earth breath up into your body and your sky breath down into your body, where they are touching, where they are meeting. And I'm inviting you here to allow this to happen. Less directing it and more being the space in which they are touching, and let them do their thing together. And if they're staying still and silent in one place in your body, perfect. If they're moving around, perfect. Let them do that. Keep allowing what's happening to happen. Try not to make a meaning of it, or take notes, or track even. Participate in it from within, from as the intelligence of your body. And if you are the kind of person who is more, let's say, somatically oriented, or you're a visual person, you might be seeing or feeling their union, earth and sky, inside of you, moving through your circuits, your meridians, your chakras, moving into the cells of your body, moving into the molecules. Maybe it's into the marrow of your bones. Just keep allowing this union to permeate every cell of your body, all the systems of your body. So let's continue allowing this for another 10 seconds, and then I'll come right back. Keeping your eyes closed now. Come into your heart. Feel the world that you, in your truth, the world you want to live in. Feel it. It might just be swashes of feeling or energies. It might be very distinct pictures or scenes playing out, however it is for you. And as you're feeling it, allow it to come into your mind and be given any pictures, any information that your mind would give you. Colors, shapes, scenes, people, sensations. And again, this world that you truly want to live in, let this permeate throughout your body. Very gentle. Once again, the world you, in your truth, desire to live in. Now, I am inviting you here as the final step here to devote yourself to deeply integrating anything and everything that you've gained from our time here. Anything and everything that you've learned or clarified from your experience tonight. I'm inviting you to devote yourself to making that change, those changes in your life. Feel the truth of it. Don't devote to something you're not 100% behind. In other words, no expectations or pictures of what you should be devoting yourself to, but your truth, what is actually here, plain and simple. And 3 breaths in and out of your heart. Yeah, good. So at the end of the final exhalation here, just rest for a few moments here. Just letting everything go, everything go. Coming to rest inside, and whenever you're ready, taking your time, opening your eyes. Yes.
More, please. Adam, that feels like one of the most important things we can be doing right now.
I agree.
Truly. That going into that inner space and feeling what it is that we want to create with this time.
Yes. This will guarantee that we stay out of our heads, scaring ourselves with what could happen, what may not happen, what may never get back to. We just avoid that whole storyline, scary thing. We just go right into, as you perfectly point out, feeling what I want. You can do it with eyes open. You can do it in the gym. You can do it when you're really exerting. Come into your heart or come into your body and feel what you want. Activate it. This is what I meant before about to that person's question about, can we use spirituality for power? Yes, but you got to stay in your body to do it.
Great experience of that, and so very true. And we don't have to know how.
No.
We don't have to know how that's all going to happen. No. That's the key. Once we start going into, oh, well, then I need to do that. No, because we don't know. We really don't know.
Yes.
Adam, thank you so much for this gift that you have just bestowed upon the Astrology Hub community. I am so grateful. I know they are grateful. Everyone, please continue to chat in with us, write in. Would love to hear about your experience here tonight with Adam. As you know, I'm doing these special edition episodes of, I'm just calling it the show now, because it's not just the podcast, it's all of our channels. So the show.
Wow, cool.
And the intention is to really just help you do what just happened with Adam here, to help you dream into that vision for your future, the activation of your inner potential and that dream that is you. And so as many opportunities that we can have to remind ourselves, because there's so much pulling us away from that right now. As many times as we can come together and be in this space together, to me, it's like there's no more important thing that we could be doing. So thank you for being such an amazing facilitator. That felt like a journey, really, like that was an experience. And I mean, all of it, even the part where we were talking about the astrology for, now and into February of next year. So thank you for that. I know you put so much conscious intention into whatever you bring to our community. And I'm just very grateful for that. So.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for continuing to be a supporter of me and my work. I will always be grateful. I will always be grateful to you. Thank you.
It's so easy to do.
I love supporting people. I do. I love it.
You especially. No, it's so easy to do with you. So anyways, thank you. Everybody, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your hearts, for being vulnerable in that space. And we're in this together. There is no doubt about it. We are in this together. And I am so grateful that for each and every one of you, you keep showing up and you keep saying, yes, do more. So we're going to do more. So
thank you again for everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. And take care, everybody. Aloha.